Good morning, students. So, we already started our history second chapter, that is India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. So, in that we learn that there were many ruling powers in India before Shivaji Maharaj existed. So in that time Shivaji Maharaj in this lesson we will going to learn about various different ruling powers who existed in India before during that period. So in previous lecture we learn about different ruling powers, different dynasties like Pal dynasties, then Chauhan dynasties, Prithviraj Chauhan who belonging to this Chauhan dynasty. Prithviraj Chauhan was a valiant king, and in the first war of Tarai, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad Ghori, but Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithviraj Chauhan in the second war. Then we learn about Chola dynasty, Rajaraj first and Rajendra first belonging the Chola dynasty in Tamil Nadu. So the Cholas were conquered means what? To capture. Conquered means what? To capture. So the Cholas conquered or captured the Maldives island and Sri Lanka to expand their empire. So King Vishnuvardhan also who belonging to Hoysal dynasty in Karnataka, he captured the whole Karnataka. Then we learn about three dynasties. Three dynasties of Shilehars emerge in Western Maharashtra. Which was the three dynasties? One dynasty which ruled over Thane and Raigad in North Konkan. The second one is South Konkan, and while third one is who ruled over some parts of the present day in Kolhapur, Satara, Sangli and Belgaum districts. Then we learn about Yadwa period. This Yadwa period is considered to be the golden period of Marathi language and literature. Which period was considered to be the golden period? Yadava period. Yadava period is considered to be the golden period of Marathi language and literature. It was the period, Yadava period was the period that in that period Mahanubhav Pantha and Warkari movement emerged. Then we learn about inventions from the northeast. That we learn local dynasties like Yadava, Rashtrakuta, who controlled Maharashtra, who ruled over in Maharashtra. That time Arab power also emerged in Middle East. Arab rulers, Arab power turned towards India. Arab wants to expand their empire in whole India. That's why Arab general Muhammad bin Qasim attacked Sindh province in 8th century, and then he conquered the province in Sindh. And due to the political contact, due to the political contact in India first time, that time Turks, Afghans, Mughals from Central Asia had come to India and established their power. Students, then we that the famous library of Nalanda University was burned down at Bakhtiyar Khalji. Then students we learn about the Sultanate in India. In that time when Muhammad Ghori from Afghanistan invaded India, and he appointed Qutbuddin Aibak to look after the India, governance of India, to conquer the territories in India. And after Muhammad Ghori, Aibak was ruled Indian territories. He was became the ruler of Delhi. He died in 1210. Then Ibrahim Lodi, who was the last Sultan of last sultan, he made many enemies. He during his period he made many enemies. Why? Because of his high temperament. Daulat Khan Lodi, who was the governor of Punjab on that time, he invited Babur to defeat the Lodi. So what Babur did? Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the battle, and that time when Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi, that time Sultanate ruling power came to end. Till here we learned in a previous previous lecture. Now move forward. Now we are going to learn about the kingdom of Vijayanagar. During that period, during the region of Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq of Delhi, there were many revolts in south against the central power of Delhi. In that time, in the period of Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq of Delhi, there were many ruling powers in Delhi. From these formidable Vijayanagar and Bahmani kingdoms, the brothers Hariyar brothers and Bukka, the brothers Hariyar and Bukka from South India were the Sardars in the service of the Delhi Sultanate, taking advantage of the instability in South. Instability, after the taking the advantage of their instability in South, the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who was the Sultan of that time in the Delhi, they found the region of Vijayanagar. They took the advantage and they found the kingdom of Vijayanagar in south in 1336. Hampi in today's Karnataka was capital of this kingdom. Vijayanagar kingdom, which was the capital. What was the capital of Vijayanagar kingdom? Hampi, which was in today's Karnataka. Hariyar was first king of Vijayanagar. In that, two brothers, Harihar, who was the first king of Vijayanagar, and the capital of Vijayanagar is Hampi, which was situated in today's Karnataka. Understood, students? Then Hariyar, who was the first king. Hariyar, who was the first king of Vijayanagar, he was succeeded by his brother Bukka. Bukka brought the region up to Rameshwar. What his brother Bukka did? He brought up the region. Which region he brought? Rameshwar under his control. He conquered this Rameshwar region in his control. Understood, students? Then next is Krishna Devaraya. Let us understand about this Krishna Devaraya. Krishna Devaraya ascended the throne of Vijayanagar in 1509 when he came into situation in 1509. Then he conquered. Then Krishna Devaraya captured Vijayawada and Rajmahendri and annexed the region to his kingdoms. After Krishna Devaraya came into existence, that time what Krishna Devaraya did? He captured or conquered the Rameshwari and Vijayawada and expanded his kingdom. He defeated the combined force of the enemies of the sultans who had united under the leadership of Bahmani Sultan Muhammad Shah. He defeated, उन्होंने किसको हराया? He defeated the sultans, Bahmani sultans of Muhammad Shah. During Krishna Devaraya's reign, in that period of Krishna Devaraya's period, the kingdom of Vijayanagar extended from Chutuk in the east, Krishna Devaraya expanded his empire from Chutuk in the east up to Goa in the west, from Raichur Doab in the north up to Indian Ocean in the south. During his empire, during his period, Krishna Devaraya expanded his empire and captured the places which he captured He extended his Vijayanagar kingdom from Chutuk in the east up to Goa in the west, from Raichur Doab in the north up to Indian Ocean in the south, till he expanded his empire, Vijayanagar kingdom. And then later he died in 1530 century. Now let us understand about this about Krishna Devaraya. Krishna Devaraya was a scholar, was a very good in a he has a good quality. He was a scholar. He wrote Amruk, Amukta Mallada, a Telugu compendium of polity. Hazar Ram Temple, Vitthal Temple was built in Vijayanagar during his region. During his period, Hazar Ram Temple and Vitthal Temple, these two temple was built during his period. He wrote Amuktal Mallyada, the Telugu polity, comedian polity. Later, the decline of Vijayanagar kingdom began with the death of Krishna Devaraya. After the death of Krishna Devaraya in 1530, after the death of Krishna Devaraya, Vijayanagar kingdom became ended. In 1565, after the death of Krishna Devaraya, in 1565, at Talikot in the present state of Karnataka, in 1565 at Talikot, which was situated in today's Karnataka, there was battle. There was a war between Adil Shahi, Nizam Shahi, Qutub Shahi and Bharit Shahi on one side and Vijayanagar on the other side. After the death of Krishna Devaraya, there was a battle between, on one side there were Adil Shahi, Nizam Shahi, Qutub Shahi and Bharit Shahi. On the other side there is a Vijayanagar, and in this situation, due to this huge power of this Adil Shahi, Nizam Shahi, Qutub Shahi and Bharit Shahi, there is Vijayanagar was defeated, and therefore dominance of Vijayanagar came to end. The kingdom of Vijayanagar came to end. Understood students? Here question will ask, write down the short note on Krishna Devaraya. So what you have to write? First write down the Krishna Devaraya period, when he came in 1509, then which area he captured, then his qualities and the decline part. Okay. Now next is Bahmani kingdom. Now let us understand about Bahmani kingdom. While Muhammad bin Tughlaq was still reasoning, some of his sardars in the Deccan rose in the rebellion against him. The leader of this sardar, Hassan Gangu, defeated the army of the Sultan of Delhi. In Bahmani kingdom, the leader of this sardar, the leader of this Muhammad bin Tughlaq, his sardars, Hassan Gangu, who was the leader, Hassan Gangu, वो डिफीटेड द आर्मी ऑफ सुल्तान. उन्होंने किसको हराया? सुल्तान के आर्मी को हराया. डिफीटेड द आर्मी ऑफ सुल्तान ऑफ दिल्ली एंड अ न्यू किंगडम known as Bahmani kingdom. Okay, after he defeated the Sultan army of Sultan of Delhi, then new kingdom became known. Which was the new kingdom? Bahmani kingdom, which came into existence in 1347. And after that, Hassan Gangu became the first Sultan of Bahmani kingdom. Then Hassan Gangu, after he defeated the army of Sultan, he became the first Sultan of Bahmani kingdom. Then he made a city, Gulbarga in Karnataka, as his kingdom. After that, Hassan Gangu made a Bahmani kingdom. He made a city, Gulbarga, in Karnataka, which was the capital of Bahmani kingdom. Understood, students? So, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the leader of this Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Hassan Gangu, who defeated Sultan and made a new kingdom, which was known as Bahmani kingdom. Hassan Gangu, who was the first Sultan of that Bahmani kingdom, and he made one city, Gulbarga, which was situated in a Karnataka, which is the capital of this kingdom of Bahmani kingdom. Next is Muhammad Gawan. Muhammad Gawan was the chief wazir of Bahmani kingdom. Chief wazir of this Bahmani kingdom. As we know, the first sultan was Hassan Gangu, who was the first sultan of Bahmani kingdom. But the chief wazir Muhammad Gawan was the chief wazir of Bahmani kingdom. As he was a good administrator. What was his qualities? He was a good administrator. He administered this whole kingdom very well. He strengthened the Bahmani kingdom. He started paying soldiers of their salaries in cash instead of through land grants. So, what Muhammad Gawan did? He was chief wazir of the Bahmani kingdom. He was a good administrator. He administered his kingdom very well. So, he strengthened the Bahmani kingdom. He paid salaries to the soldier in a cash instead of land grants. He made some rules, disciplines, and that rules he brought discipline in the army. He introduced many reforms in the land revenue system. He opened a madrasa at Bidar for Arabic and Persian studies. He opened one madrasa where Persian and Arabian studies were did. After the death of Muhammad Gawan, factism increased among the Bahmani Sardars. The conflict increased between Bahmani Sardars. The conflict with Vijayanagar kingdom had adverse effect on the Bahmani kingdom, and the provisional governors began to act more independently. This led to disintegration of Bahmani kingdom into 5 small powers. After the death of Muhammad Gawan, Bahmani kingdom was divided into 5 small powers, for 5 small parts. One is Imad Shahi of Warad, Barit Shahi of Bidar, Adil Shahi of Bizapur, Nizam Shahi of Ahmednagar, and Qutub Shahi of Golconda. About Muhammad Gawan was chief wazir of the Bahmani kingdom. He was a good administrator. He was strengthened this kingdom very well. He paid salaries to soldiers in a cash instead of land grants. He brought discipline rules in a kingdom. So after the death of Muhammad Gawan, there was a factism or a conflict getting increased between Vijayanagar. So after the Muhammad Gawan death, the Bahmani kingdom was divided into 5 small powers, like Imad Shahi of Warad, Barit Shahi of Bidar, Adil Shahi of Bizapur, Nizam Shahi of Ahmednagar, and Qutub Shahi of Golconda. Understood, students? Understood? All of you understood about Muhammad Gawan? Here also question will ask that write down the short note of Muhammad Gawan, like Krishna Deva Raya. Okay? Next is Mughal power. In 1526, the Sultanate of Delhi came to an end. As we learned that in 1526, Sultanate power came to end. Mughal, and that time, after the Mughal Sultan power came to end, that time Mughal power came into existence, or Mughal power was established. So in Mughal power, let us understand about Babur. Babur was the founder of Mughal power. Who founded the Mughal power? Babur. He was the king of Fargana in Central Asia, which was in today's Uzbekistan. He had heard the wealth in India, so he planned the invention of India. The reigning Sultan of Delhi is at the times of Ibrahim Lodi. As we learn that uh, Babur who defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle. So Ibrahim Lodi and Daulat Khan Lodi was the governor of Punjab under the Sultan, that we learn already. So there is the relationship between Ibrahim Lodi and Daulat Khan Lodi was strained. Okay, so Daulat Khan Lodi invited Babur to defeat with Ibrahim Lodi. Daulat Khan Lodi invited Babur to march, and taking this opportunity that Babur invented India. Why Daulat Khan Lodi invited Babur? To fight against Ibrahim Lodi, to rebel the Babur's invention, to fight with Ibrahim Lodi. Then Ibrahim Lodi started with his army. There was a battle between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur on 21st April 1526, in the year 1526. That time 21st April 1526, on that day there was a battle between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi at Panipat. And in this battle, Babur used many use of artillery effectively, and he defeated Ibrahim Lodi's army, and that battle was known as First Battle of Panipat. In that battle, Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi. So after that battle of Panipat, Rana Sanga of Mewad brought all Rajput kings together. After the battle of Panipat, Rana Sang did? Rana Sang brought all the Mewad Rajput kings together, and there was a battle between Babur and all these Rajput kings. And Babur's artillery and reserve force played a key role in this battle. And Ranasanga's army was defeated, and in that battle, Babur died in 1530. Understood, students? Till here, all of you understood about battle of Panipat. Here again, question will ask, write down the battle of Panipat. So what you have to write, that in the battle of Panipat, Babur